Good day sanibonani njani. My name is Umpumelelo Akamshengu Shabalala Uchaku Dongalamavuso Mavuso Amhlophe Kuyofisela Nakuba Kuyena. I'm also known as Umfana Wakamshengu. So on today's episode, I just want to speak about today's holiday. It's June 16 in South Africa and obviously around the world, but specifically in South Africa. June 16 marks one of the saddest days and the saddest heritage, the saddest history of our lives, especially as Black peoples in South Africa. So June 16 comes from Soweto uprising. As you know, before 1993, we used to have an apartheid regime in South Africa where black and whites live separately and Indians live separately. So the law was the law of separation where people lived according to their skin color. So conflict was bound to happen around the country, especially in South Africa, in a case where majority of the population was Black people and they were the ones who were oppressed the most, be it in the social, economic sector, even in the education sector. So in every single aspect of life, Black people suffered the most in South Africa. So this led to 1976, June 16, it's called the Soweto uprising, where students around South Africa, but specifically Soweto at that day, they decided enough is enough. We're going to go on the streets. We're going to go to a Orlando Stadium and obviously march against studying in Afrikaans and being forced to study in Afrikaans even though it's not your mother tongue. And this was just some of the ways Black young South Africans were expressing themselves. It turned out to be a massacre, and on the record, it's recorded that 176 people died. But we know during that time, it was the apartheid regime controlling everything. So there was probably more people, not even people, young kids who died that day. So we all know the famous about Hector Peterson's. You all know those pictures, and you all watch Usarafina, and every time we watch Usarafina, we get mad because it's the exact same image they gave us on Sarafina just to show us what life was like during 1976 and when Soweto uprising happened. So today, June 16, bawubiza a celebration. I do not know or understand why babies a celebration. Because even traditionally as Black people, umanenza nikhumbuza abantu asebashona anijabuli yabo. Even noma wenzela itshe, wenzela abazali bakho, wenzela osisi bakho noma o-aunt bakho, akuyona into enjabuli. It's more of a sad day whereby you remember umuntu enaniphila naye. So it's the same thing go June 16. However, it's now turned into a party situation. The youth of today are celebrating this holiday as if it's a day to get drunk, it's a day of party, stay away from school and just enjoy it, and not look at the true reflection of this day and what it has done and where it has put us as South Africa in the current situation. Because students in South Africa are no longer forced to learn in Afrikaans. Weird enough, we learn in English, and English is the medium of instruction across South Africa, which is a story and a debate for another day. Why can't we learn in isiZulu? Why can't we learn in asixoxe as our first languages and as the medium of instruction in South African schools, universities, and so on? But then, yeah, that is the situation. So, ngicela nje namhlanje ukuthi abantu becelebrate uJune 16 ngokuzotha. Manje ngokuzotha ungayihlalela endlini uyibukele ufundise your younger brothers about the history of South Africa, the history of apartheid, what the situation was like. And because you'd find that the youth of today will be like, oh no, let's not vote for this political party, let's not vote for the white people are better, let's vote for DA, let's vote for Freedom Plus or Freedom France, all these political parties. The same people who still carry out the same policies in their political parties, they haven't changed any bit. And the saddest thing is that you'd find that even the youth of 1976, whom today are in positions of power, whom today are the working class, the parents are the ones who actually oppress the youth of today. Every time young students decide to march against the universities across South Africa for fees, it is the same students of 1976 who beat the hell out of the current generation who are marching against the high fees in universities across South Africa. And you find that the youth of today are now having criminal records. Some spend a lot of time in prisons. I know a lot of students who spend like months in prisons because of office must fall and so on. So that situation is quite sad. But then we must always remember 1976, it wasn't just a day of fun. Even if we celebrate it today, there's nothing fun to celebrate about it. Rather just reflect and teach the young ones amongst us what happened in 1976. Nanokuthi futhi ungamthemba nje le genge le. Yabo le genge ayiphethwe ngobandlululo. Ngisho ngabe kuthiwa i-ANC angazi idayiseni, but hey, there's no way. There's no way. There's just no way you could trust those people again with the lives of South Africans, the lives of your own children, because they've never showed any interest in taking care of us, and they still do not share or take any interest in taking care of us even now, because even with the political freedom that we have in South Africa, they have refused to give us the economic freedom. They refuse to give us the mines. They refuse to give us the power when it comes to the economy. They are constantly even attacking all the state-owned enterprises as the private sectors, and it's them. So when you want to and point out different things, just remember all these things, that we've never really enjoyed economic freedom. So we're still in a war, even this current generation. So these are just things you should reflect and go June 16. Nikhohlwa ukudakwa lapha ko-Florida, nikhohlwa ukudakwa lapha komabona nginidla inhloko laphana as if kwakune party. So thank you for watching. I just wanted to share this short clip about June 16 and just share some little history, and maybe try and educate my 90s and my 2000s and because it seems as if they do not understand the magnitude of June 16 and what truly happened. And I wouldn't be doing justice if I don't even mention Ukredo Mutu. To even learn more about June 16, you must go online, go on YouTube, watch videos on Ukredo Mutu. Ukredo Mutu was in English, but he was someone who was spiritual in a way, or a folkteller. He could see the future. He had that powerful gift, and he was from South Africa. Ukredo Mutu, before June 16, he saw Soweto in ashes in one of his dreams, and he kept telling people that ngibone Soweto isha, ngibone ingane dying left, right, and center. And this was just before actually June 16 happened. So June 16 came. It happened just as he predicted, and the students decided, no, he's the one who's a spy and so on, but decided to shisumuzwak. You should also learn about this guy, the things he has seen, the things he has said, even before Ashon, the things he said about Jacob Zuma and how he is the last black president in South Africa and how we are in a dangerous situation. Kubalulekile ukuthi uma Africa, just acknowledge these spiritual things, because if you lose that, you lose yourself. You could learn a lot from Mamandike. You could learn a lot from Amasulumane when it comes to South Africa. Those people baphila ngendlela yabo, and it's stuck to a religion yabo, which is linked to their inner being and how they decide to do things. So maybe that's where we're lacking. So do watch him. You'll learn a lot. Thank you. Take care. Ciao.